everybody. Welcome back to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I'm your host, Ross Pitt, Shark Hunter. And with me today, as always, is my best friend in the world, Wizzy Puff.
Oh,
say hello, Wizzy.
That's me. I'm Wizzy Puff.
Hello.
Flexing my muscles for all 200 people viewing this.
Yeah, if you don't know, everybody, we're actually in front of a live studio audience this time around. Yeah, they can see everything that's going on. But you can't.
We're doing a lot of wacky visual shenanigans this time.
Yep. Oh, Wizzy, careful with that water pot.
Oh no, it's boiling hot. I better not slip on this banana peel.
Uh-oh.
Ah, my face. I'm melting just like the Wicked Witch of the West.
I was gonna say, just like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Man.
In front of 200 people. What an embarrassing death.
This is surely gonna traumatize all the 200 people who got to view it.
Well, I hope they got their money's worth. Anyways, welcome back everybody to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour, where I take my beautiful friend Wizzy Puff through the magical journey of My Little Pony fanfiction. That's right, that's what this show is about. Wizzy, 136 episodes later, you think you know anything more about My Little Pony than you did before?
I remember Sombra's not a unicorn. He's a Sombra.
Okay, well, technically, yes, he is a unicorn, but he's also an Umbra pony. It's kind of like how the crystal ponies are technically earth ponies.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are there crystal ponies?
Wait, you don't know about the crystal ponies?
What are the how are they different from regular ponies? I thought they were just like citizens of the Crystal Empire who are just ponies.
They look crystalline. They have like a crystal sort of sheen about them, you know?
Wait, the crystal heart.
Yeah.
Is that what like powers them?
Not really, not technically. They power the crystal heart, and the crystal heart therefore protects them. But they can only power the crystal heart when they're feeling like good about their lot in life, I guess. Okay. So when Sombra takes over, they don't feel great at all, so they can't power the crystal heart. That's basically how I'm remembering it. And I don't mean to brag, I kind of nailed that fucking explanation, unlike most of them.
But how does it protect them? What does it protect them from?
Well, Sombra. That didn't work out well.
How did he...
And the freezing colds of the north.
Oh. That's how it stays a beautiful tropical paradise?
I wouldn't call it tropical, but yes. Oh, there's a little ant on me. God, that was scary.
Ugh.
So today, we are going to be reading 2 fanfictions. The first one we're going to be reading is I by Pseudobob Delightus.
Just I? Just the letter I?
Specifically lowercase I. Let's call it lowercase I from now on.
Yeah, that feels more appropriate.
So, we're going to be reading this.
I think you should have said, I'm going to be reading this, you know?
Oh, you're right. You're going to be reading this. Ba-dum-ching.
I'm going to... Oh my god. Now I said I.
Oh, it's going to get you.
No.
This is tagged horror and sad.
Yeah, it's going to be a real depressing night tonight. I can already feel it.
But it's rated E for everyone.
Aw, that's good.
Yeah, that's very nice. Are you ready, Wizzy?
I'm going to be good with the next one. Yes, I am ready.
I am ready. All right. This is...
It's going to keep coming up. Oh my god.
Hell yeah. This is Lowercase I by Pseudobob Delightus. Chapter. Story. I'm awake. I can think. Something's not right. I'm not in bed. I don't feel thirsty or hungry or tired. I don't feel in pain. I don't feel anything despite what happened. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what should have happened. You should have gone down into the description and read this story for yourself.
Hey!
I'll be honest, guys. I think you might want to read this one for yourself. It probably
very stylized.
This one does look like it'll be one of those stories where it's like, I think the experience might work better if you're not listened into a bunch of chuckle fucks reading it.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out for yourself and then come back here and listen to the chuckle fucks.
Yep. And the other stories, in case we don't see that later on. All right. What happened? It just slipped my mind. I'll remember it later. What was I doing before? Oh, right. The lecture. My friends weren't really paying attention, but I'm used to that. It's all practice anyway. They support me by being there and sometimes listening. And they usually enjoyed the spell demonstrations. I just need to clear my throat. Clear my mind before I start. Ahem. We're all familiar with the first domain: sight, smell, taste, sound, touch, and ego.
And ego?
Yeah.
There's only 5. What is this ego sense? I don't have an ego. I'm not self-centered. I guess the sense of self is a sense.
Yeah, I was on your side, and now I'm on your side again. We're all familiar with the first domain: sight, smell, taste, sound, touch, and ego, the living planet. Phenomena that can be observed.
Oh.
Even things that cannot be observed under normal circumstances remain theoretically within our reach, as long as it is in the first domain and the threshold of observation is always pushed forward. Maybe all in the first domain will someday be observed. You may have guessed from its name, what was its name? I could have sworn that I knew its name. Nevertheless, you may have guessed that this is not the only kind of phenomena. All reality is made of things that can be observed and things that cannot be observed. But even that may be too broad a brush. Some scholars divide further, proposing 4 categories, not 2, with observability and existence as axes. You could imagine something that doesn't exist, yet is observable, and something that exists, yet... It just slipped my mind. What was I doing before? Oh, right, the lecture. That was the point where my friends would usually stop paying attention. Spike, Fluttershy, and Applejack were usually more polite about it, and Pinkie Pie could go either way, but Rarity and Rainbow Dash were harder to satisfy. Rainbow Dash would say,
"Heck, Twilight, when are we gonna need to know any of this?"
Wait, no, that might have been Applejack. Rainbow Dash would say,
"Pardon me, but..."
No, that's more like what Rarity would say. Rainbow Dash would say,
"Jeez, Twilight."
It just slipped my mind. I can feel it. The space where it used to be. It was big. Trying to remember it is like trying to reach through a glass window. I could see it. And I know where it's supposed to be. I just can't. It's okay. I'm here. I can remember what happened. Who said that? Is there some pony there? I think I'm talking to myself. Thinking to myself. It didn't matter who was there. They got bored with the lecture, so I hurried along to the demonstration. They always liked the demonstration more anyways. The spell is hard to compare to anything else. It's transmutation, but it doesn't adhere to a recipe. It's teleportation, but it doesn't require spatial coordinates. Entirely new. I remember spending weeks just to compose it on paper. Actually casting it was a different challenge. There was something there when it happened. Shapes in the fog. A blur. 2 trunks. inverted because of my position relative to them, and something opposite them, flexible strands parted by another trunk. I think I'm describing myself. I think. I don't remember what I look like. Something's not right. Who's there? Is anyone there? Myself again. Focus. Don't panic. I can still remember. I am female. I have legs below me and a horn above me, and something blurry in front of me. Yes, it's all coming back to me. The lecture on nature of reality, what exists and what can be observed, and the spell that was meant to break down the walls, to see beyond them. Not the walls of my house? No, not that kind of wall. Nor the walls of whatever this is. It would help if there was some pony, something here with me, other than me, whatever this is. But I can do this on my own for now. I remember from something I wrote, said, thought? Yes, something I thought. There is what is known. It may be difficult to observe it with our natural senses, but we can exceed our natural limits with technology and observe reality in scope and detail that is otherwise impossible. Magic is especially difficult to observe naturally, but when understood, it can be employed to further the observation of itself. This was the purpose of my... What is it? I am so close to it. I had a spell that would help, clarify things, break down the walls. How? I don't... It doesn't matter. It worked. It worked. I'm here. Now, I can... What can I? I can tell the others what I experienced. Here. Wherever here is. What is here? Shouldn't there be something? Something else? Something else? Focus. I'm here. There should be something here. Here. This should be a location. I was at a location before, in my house, or wherever, but now I'm not. Or at least I can't tell right now. Now. What time is it? Time is passing, I think, but I can never judge these things. Focus. It may be different here. No time or space. But then, how am I here? Am I here? I can remember. Still. I can, but it's only spaces left. Where something used to be. If someone's there, leave me alone. I just need some... Not... No. I need some time and space to think. I don't have it. I need to think, keep thinking, and think about... What? What is there to think about? Did it work? Did it work? Or am I just spilling out like a memory? Is someone there? Focus. Is anyone there? Is there anyone? Is there anything? Other than me? Am I still here? I can still remember. Something. One last space. Still full. It's me. I am still here. I am still. I am. I. And that was Lowercase I by Pseudo Bob Delightus.
Oh my god.
What a fucking story.
First I thought this was going to be like Alzheimer's or something.
Yeah.
But it seems more like she just destroyed reality by accident.
Thanks, you. I was going to say the C word, but I've already done that once this year, so I don't want to do it again. Thanks, you piece of shit.
You can call her a cuck.
I was also going to say, I was about to say the C word, and then I was like, no, say cuck instead. But then I decided to go with the other option, which was just not say it. But yeah, wow. Fuck you, Twilight. Why'd you need to do that?
Man.
Fuck's wrong with you?
It's just like in Panatrophia.
Yeah. And in the fucking one, the other one. Someone's dying, I think it's Rarity. She had a long life, but Twilight's doesn't want her to go. So she, like, destroys reality, kills her friends, whatever the fuck.
Oh.
To go back in time and
that kind
live
of
with
feels
them
like
again.
Panatrophia, but...
It isn't that.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's just...
it's like the memories of that and Panatrophia are, like, getting mixed in my mind.
There it is, recycled. Yeah, it's kind of like recycled. Yeah. I think there are other, like, weird, wacky stories that we've read that are kind of similar, but I can't think of any right now. Dead Butterflies is also kind of like that. Yeah. So, wacky stuff.
I think this and Dead Butterflies are definitely up there in some of my favorite horror fics we've read.
Yeah. I think Dead Butterflies probably outweighs this one. Just because, oh god, the experience of reading Dead Butterflies was really fucking fun.
Yeah.
And trying to, like, piece together and Dead Butterflies doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you get down to the nitty gritty, but it's a fun one. This one is just depressing.
This feels like...
And so is Dead Butterflies, but...
Dead Butterflies feels like a roguelike with full graphics. This feels like if you went into text-only mode on Dead Butterflies.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but...
It makes no sense to me, but you said it in such a way where it made sense. It's like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
This feels more like a stripped down, bare bones version of it, where it's only 1,000 words. They were very limited in what they were making, but I think they made it very captivatingly.
Yeah. Frankly, this dude, Pseudobob, yeah, they got a lot of stories that I actually think we should read that look really interesting.
Ooh, I like their name.
Yeah. So I hope that we can have them on more of the podcast. Like, not on the podcast, unless they want to come on. Hey, Pseudobob, if you're there, come on.
Maybe send over Real Bob. Pseudobob seems kind of like a fake version, you know?
Fair point. Great job, CD, baby. So that was lowercase I. Very good.
Now time to get into one that sounds just as boring from the title.
You're right.
White Painted Walls by Apple Zombie.
Ooh. And fair warning, guys. We have never before had to give this sort of a content warning, but
Incest.
God damn it. No, Wizzy, we've read ones with incest before. No, we haven't.
Oh, God.
I don't think we have. I don't know.
Maybe jokingly.
Suicide and self-harm. So, fair warning before we get into this. If that is something that you do not like or cannot take in your stories, feel free to dip out now. You got a good one on the first half of this episode.
Yeah, you should go check out Great Big Sky. That was a great episode of ours. That one has no suicide or self-harm.
Yeah. This one also has narcotics.
Oh, yeah.
And profanity, if you're, like, against profanity. Yeah.
Don't know why you were here for that other story if you don't like profanity, but...
Weird, but okay. So anyways, yeah. Wizzy, you're reading this one.
All right. White Painted Walls by Apple Zombie. Chapter 1. Walls painted white were never really white. There was always a subtle, almost microscopic texture to them. Flaws in the paint, brushstrokes, little bits that caught the light and cast shadow. And then there was what the paint hid. Poorly patched holes where there'd been damage. Chips in the drywall, gouges where the bed frame had rubbed wrong. Yellowed bits where tobacco smoke stains had been painted over. A few faded black marks where the room's last occupant had gotten creative on the walls with a pack of broken crayons. Crayons, not pencils or pens. Those were too dangerous. The thought made Adagio Dazzle roll her eyes. Danger. She was a danger. To herself. To others. No shit. What else did you call trying to drown yourself in sweet poison? What else were you supposed to do when you were immortal and then suddenly not? Death had been the point. But for some reason, these stupid primitive monkeys didn't like that. So she stared at the wall that was never really white, and let time do what they wouldn't let her do with alcohol.
Yeah, I never really think about that, but they were immortal and now they're going to die.
Yep.
That's... Damn, that's something. I'm not going to say they don't deserve it.
Shouldn't have put so much stock in being immortal.
Yeah.
I kind of like the value of having a life.
Yeah, that's a great point, Wizzy. Very Puss in Boots The Last Wish for you, my man.
We need to watch that together.
We do.
Even though I haven't seen it yet, I still want to watch it with you.
I would love to watch it with you.
Doodly doodly doo. The first time Sonata came to visit, Adagio was still in the hospital. Awake in the technical sense, but not much more than that. A miracle, somebody had said. Adagio didn't remember who. Should have died. Irretrievable coma. Possible permanent damage. She hadn't said anything to Sonata then. Just stared at the hospital wall. Eggshell white. But not really. Doodly doodly doo. The second time Sonata came to visit, Adagio refused to see her. Maybe it was anger, but Adagio couldn't have pinned down exactly what to be angry about. The fact that the doctors in the hospital had told her she was being involuntarily committed? That Sonata had arranged it? That Sonata had shown up to visit with that Sparkle girl? Maybe all of the above. But Adagio didn't feel anger. She barely felt anything. So why did she refuse? Doodly doodly doo. Yeah, each time there's a break in this chapter, I have to make sure that everyone's aware.
Yep. Thanks, Wizzy. Thanks. I started at. I don't know why I'm thanking you.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that everyone's aware, because there's just like 3 in a row right here for each visit that Sonata has.
Oh, god damn, it's so depressing. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
The third time, she agreed. The rehab had a cafeteria. It reminded Adagio of Canterlot High, but even more annoyingly bright. Big windows let in too much sunlight, and patients congregated at round plastic tables in oversaturated colors, laughing and chatting with whatever imbeciles had designed to come visit the pathetic addicts who were pretending to get healthy, painting over their failures with whitewashed smiles and white lies until they could get out and get to their drug of choice again. It was so much like high school it made her sick. At least revulsion was something she could still feel. Sonata came alone, though Adagio was sure Sonata would have been happier if that Sparkle girl was with her. Adagio would have refused if that had been the case, though. Sonata looked healthier than the last time Adagio had seen her. The bruises and cuts Arya had left, before the officers could take her away, had all faded. Her clothing, once ragged and tattered, was clean and new. She looked happy.
Jesus, Arya.
How did they like fall out at the end of the movie?
They just ran off together. They didn't have a falling out.
Okay.
They were just blasted by the magic of friendship as usual. And they lost their whole sort of jig.
They just like lost their magic and became mortal.
Yep. So they booked it. And they appeared again. And they actually got pretty good at actually singing this time. Because before they used their magic to sing. But they apparently got their act together kind of after the movie. And became good singers. Still douchebags, but...
So this is more of like an alternate universe where they had a falling out at the end of the movie? Or I'm assuming this is probably around
We don't know if they don't have a falling out at the end of whatever it was called.
That's a good point.
Sunset's Backstage Pass, that's it. It's a Sunset Shimmer one, of course it's good.
Sonata made her way to the table Adagio waited at and sat. The two of them waited, neither one saying a word for several minutes, letting the sounds of other families pretending to be happy wave over them. Adagio knew it was fake.
How have you been?
Sonata asked, finally breaking the silence. Adagio stared blankly.
You look better.
She continued. She'd been about to say good. Adagio laughed bitterly. Nobody looks good with a tube coming out of their throat. Sonata nodded.
I'm glad you're doing better.
I'm not.
But
Why'd you come, Sonata? Why bother?
we're family.
Adagio scoffed. You were never family. You were a tool I used until it didn't matter any longer. Until nothing mattered any longer. Her voice sounded empty, even to herself. Sonata was quiet. Offended? Adagio laughed. Sonata shook her head.
No, I just never expected you to admit it.
Something in Adagio twitched. Her hands shook a lot these days, though less than when she was first forced clean. But this wasn't that kind of twitch. Oh?
Yeah. It's a surprise.
Sonata said.
For you to admit what you did to me. To both of us.
Are you looking for an apology? Adagio hissed. You won't get one.
No,
Sonata said softly.
there's nothing you have that I want.
Adagio twitched again. Sonata sounded confident, sure of herself. One had that. That Sparkle girl. It was her fault. Hers and Sunset. And the rest of the sweet, sappy, saccharine sisterhood. They'd taken her sister and had twisted her. Twisted Sister, I think that's a band.
It is.
Turned Sonata into a happy, confident, self-assured, healthy woman.
Those bastards.
The revulsion surged up Adagio's throat, like bile, acidic and raw.
Thank you.
It took a long time until she was done throwing up, hunched over a scuffed, battered trash can. Something was touching her, holding back her limp, stringy orange hair. Sonata. Don't touch me. It was a raw growl, drug up from the depths of Adagio's gut, a perfect complement to the bitter flavor in her throat. She slashed clumsily with one hand, and Sonata danced away. When did Sonata get to be so graceful? While Adagio stumbled around like a drunken idiot. She stumbled back into her chair. Her fingers, arched like claws, gripped at the edge of the table so hard her knuckles were white. Sonata's last words echoed in her mind. A mantra. A chant. Hushed words repeated over and over until they lost meaning. It reminded Adagio of the whisper of a paintbrush.
There's nothing you have that I want.
Get out, she whispered. Get the fuck out of here. Sonata stood, leaving, and looked down at Adagio one last time. There was pity in Sonata's eyes. Adagio felt sick again. She needed a drink. It wasn't possible. Sonata couldn't pity her. Sonata couldn't change. Sonata couldn't be happy. It had to be fake. It wasn't allowed. White paint hiding the flaws on the wall. When she looked up, Sonata had already left, leaving only the taste of bile in Adagio's mouth. Author's note. Thanks for reading. While this story stands on its own, I think it's technically a sequel to the first pony fanfic I ever wrote.
Fuck.
Consonance and Dissonance. While I believe I've improved much as a writer since I first wrote that story, I'm still proud of it, and I've always meant to get back to that world. So if you're interested in the sequence of events that led us here, please check it out. Yo.
Oh, look at that.
I guess it wasn't just a direct sequel to the movie.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Pinkie Pie breaks her leg while hiking. How the fuck does that lead here?
Yeah. Well, that was White Painted Walls by Apple Zombie.
Whew. Yeah, a bit too happy for my taste.
Wow.
Yeah, I just found it a bit, you know, they're just really,
I didn't like Sonata being happy. If they got rid of that, then it would have been perfect.
There are some stories where you just read where you're like, okay, that's just fluff to make the author feel better. And yeah, I guess this is kind of just one of them. Hell, for all I know, this was just to make the author feel better.
That's a good point.
People cope in mysterious ways. Anyways, so actually reviewing it, I thought it was pretty good. It actually scratched that itch I had a few months ago, where I just really wanted to read a story about someone who's just like fucked up.
And just angry at everything.
Which is just my way of coping with the awful piece of shit that was Ward. And again, Ward is actually pretty damn good, but God, I hate that fucking story so much. It's... People cope in mysterious ways.
Yeah. So that was like how freaking Adagio was feeling toward Sonata. That's how you were feeling toward Ward?
Yes, actually. Except
like it just makes you sick and makes bile rise up in your throat, even though you love it.
Well, I do not love Ward. Worm I loved. Ward I have a deep fucking hatred for. That will never leave. I like it though. You know, when I don't fucking hate every moment of it. I did not get better with that story over time.
Just got worse.
My opinions have dropped significantly.
They have Worm, and then they have Ward, and then they have Worse. Or it even ruins it even more.
God damn it. It's now 5 letters? The fuck is with that? So yeah, that itch was scratched.
I think that this story was a pretty good representation of mental health in a very, like, dark, cathartic, macabre way.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously very adult-oriented, but I don't know, there's something about the character who's just, like, so determined to destroy their own life just because they're, like, so angry that I think portraying that character well, which I think they did in this story, it's really satisfying.
Yeah.
It's such a complex character to write.
Definitely. I am curious to read whatever the heck that thing was.
Yeah.
The original one.
I wonder if... How many... Oh, that's 69,000 words. Not a chance.
I'll probably read it on my own. Nice, though. Nice. Yeah, I rather enjoyed this one. I really did like how they portrayed Adagio and her problems. And they connected those problems to the whole magical bullshit, which is also always fun.
Yeah.
I love connecting problems to magical bullshit. Pretty sad. Hope that she gets better.
I'm very confused.
What's up?
Thought we did one by Apple Zombie before, because I definitely recognize this person's profile picture.
A Christmas Shimmer.
Wait, did I just miss that one when looking through it?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I just missed it.
I recognize the name, so I don't know why I didn't look for any that we already read and gone, if you remember that name, we also read this by them. You know how I do.
Yeah, so if you like this episode, like this fic, definitely check out our episode of the Power Hour where we read A Christmas Shimmer by Apple Zombie.
Yep.
Because I gave that a thumbs up, which means it must have been good.
Yeah. Wizzy is actually very, very picky. There are so many fics that he dislikes.
There's 2 fics I've liked. Christmas Shimmer and Public Boundaries.
He fucking hated white paint walls, though.
I don't like it when they make the characters sad. It makes me sad.
Wizzy's a complicated man.
Yeah, that's so complicated.
I think these 2 fics went well amazingly. One was deterioration of the entire way the fic was written and the world around it. And this one was a deterioration of Adagio Dazzle's mental state.
We forgot to mention that these fics were released just like today and yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So these are fresh, hot, off the press.
Today for me, yesterday for you. No, the other way around. Fuck.
One is released July 9th, and one is released July 10th. They're both 1,000 words.
And I'm reading this on July 11th.
Thought, we should do them. And I'm really glad we did.
Yep.
It's the perfect trilogy. And the fans will listen to this on... I'm not going to do math. I'm not going to do math.
All
you guys
right.
are going to listen to this whenever you listen to it. And I hope that you enjoyed it.
I also hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy them and you didn't read them, these fics, go down in the description and give them a likes. They are good. Thank you. That's all the time I have. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the podcast. I forgot that I was narrating this episode. Isn't that funny? You just get so lost in the other guy's narration that you forget you're supposed to be the presenter.
I was almost prepared to close it out myself after that.
The mind works in mysterious ways. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. I have been Ross Pitt, Shark Hunter, and this over here has been Wizzy Puff. And we are going to leave you with this. Don't ever touch my bacon. The food. God, Wizzy, get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh.
Get the fuck out of my podcast.
Bye.
All right, remember not to... Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. There we go. Did you say see ya?
Oh, wait, no, that's right. I have to say see ya, not bye. Oh, no. My mental state is deteriorating. See ya!
And observe reality in scope and detail that is otherwise impossible. Nance. This is going to be annoying, isn't it?